scientists focus on when they study an earthquake. These are the epicenter, focus, seismic waves or wavefronts, and faults and plates. Let's talk about the first one, which is the epicenter. The epicenter is the area on the surface of the Earth that is directly above the earthquake. In most cases, it is the epicenter that receives the greatest amount of damage from the earthquake. Next is the focus, also called the hypocenter because it is found below the epicenter. It is the point deep in the surface of the Earth where the quake originates. Then, there are the seismic waves or wavefronts. These are waves that originate from the focus. They move in all directions from the focus and are recorded using seismographs. Lastly, there are the faults and plates. One example of a fault is the San Andreas Fault in California, which is one of the longest and most active faults in the world. An upper mantle, which is divided into several pieces. These plates move, causing different kinds of tectonic events.
Causes of earthquakes. There are two types causes of earthquakes. These are volcanic and tectonic earthquakes. Volcanic earthquakes are caused when there are activities inside of the volcano. These are the movements of magma and the built-in pressure inside of the volcano. Tectonic earthquakes, in the other hand, are caused when the two plates move or slip each other. It can build a pressure that can create a strong earthquake. When this pressure is released, it will create a strong earthquake that can damage buildings many miles away. It depends on its strength.
The equipments used by PHIVOLCS, which are Richter scale and Mercalli scale. Richter scale was originally devised to measure the magnitude of earthquake of moderate size, that is magnitude 3 to magnitude 7, by a sign number that would allow the size of one earthquake to compare with another. It was devised in 1935 by American seismologists Charles F. Richter and Benno Gothenburg. On the other hand, the modified Mercalli intensity scale, developed from Giuseppe Mercalli's Mercalli intensity scale of 1902, is a seismic intensity scale used for measuring the intensity of shaking produced by an earthquake. While the Mercalli intensity scale describes the intensity of an earthquake based on its observed effects, the Richter scale describes the earthquake's magnitude by measuring the seismic waves that caused the earthquake. The Mercalli scale is linear, and the Richter scale is logarithmic. That's all. Thank you.
We're going to discuss about the main types of fault. The first one is the dip-slip fault and has two categories. The first category of this fault is the normal fault, which is the footwall goes up and the hanging wall goes down. The second category is the reverse or thrust fault, where the hanging wall goes up and the footwall goes down. The second one is the strike-slip fault, and it's only one category, the transform fault. In this case, the two blocks or plates slide past to each other.
What are the top 5 most active faults in the Philippines? First, the West Philippine Fault. Second, the Eastern Philippine Fault. Third, the South of Mindanao Fault. Fourth, the Central Philippine Fault, which is also the most active. And lastly, the Marikina Valley Fault System, which is the largest of them all. While the largest and most active faults in the world is the Pacific Ring of Fire. 90% of the world's earthquake occurs at the areas located at the Pacific Ring of Fire. That's all about faults. Thank you.
Earthquakes have caused lots of intense damage throughout the history of the Earth. They have cost hundreds of lives, and they have made lots of indentions and cracks on the Earth's surface. The strongest earthquake recorded in Philippine history was the Moro Gulf earthquake on August 16, 1976. It had a magnitude of 8.0 and had a total of 17,000 casualties. Its damage was massive, but it wasn't properly calculated.
At what Luke said may have been the most powerful earthquake in the Philippines. The world's most powerful earthquake is known as the Validvian earthquake. Known to have a magnitude of 9.5, it was so strong that it not only took down buildings and destroyed roads, but it was also felt all around the world, as people would say. That's true. The earthquake was also so strong that it left 2 million people homeless, approximately 3,000 injured, and left 1,655 dead, and quite possibly more. It was struck near 1960s near Chile, Valdivia. It also hurt the environment, causing mountains to crumble a bit, forests to fall, and all local wildlife to go away. But it not only hurt the environment, the people, but also the economy. It left at least $550 million of economic damage all around Chile, Valdivia, which would be considered 4.8 billion by today's standards. Although no earthquake has been ever recorded to reach 10 or reach near that, it is believed to happen soon, said by scientists.
So before an earthquake, first, make sure you have a fire extinguisher, a first aid kit, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, and extra batteries at home. This is important for emergencies and also when power outages occurs. Second, the next is to learn about basic first aid like CPR and handling with wounds and injuries. Third, learn how to turn off the gas, water, and electricity. Fourth, make up a plan of where to meet your family after an earthquake. Fifth, don't leave heavy objects on shelves as they might fall during an earthquake. And finally, learn the earthquake plan at your school or workplace. So, safety tips during an earthquake. Now, if your surroundings outside is dangerous, you should just stay inside. While inside, you should find a sturdy or hard object to drop under to during the earthquake.
And here's my follow-up in that: cover your head and torso to prevent being hit by falling objects. Second, hold into the object that you are under so that you remain covered. As CJ said, you need to find something that is hard so you can take shelter from it. So you can take shelter from the earthquake. And next, or my follow-up, is what to do after an earthquake has occurred. This is what you do. First, check yourself and others for injuries. That's the first and foremost, so you can check if no one's badly injured, and so if there's one or anyone who is badly injured, you can go ahead and call the 911 or anything. So here, number 2, check water, gas, and electric wires for damage. So be careful of that. Third, turn on the radio if possible if no connection. And 4, stay out of damaged buildings. Of course, so no buildings will fall or anything tall will fall into you or you get hit by those damaged buildings. Be careful of chimneys. They might fall on you if you have chimneys, of course. And stay away from beaches and stay away from damaged areas. Of course, stay away from beaches because maybe there will be a following tidal wave because of the earthquake. And lastly, be prepared for aftershocks and a possible tidal wave.